Hello, Davis. Thank you for joining in. Hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. If you just join in, I will be speaking live on my Facebook and on my YouTube as well. So I want to thank all of you that are joining in. Thank you, Nebo, for joining in, and greetings for all of you. Uh, Here again, my name is Fonton Daniel. I will be speaking live here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States. I know there's a lot of things that is going on in La Republique, especially in Douala and in Yaoundé, but more specifically, Douala. So I will be talking about the plan of completely shut down La Republique do Cameroon completely, because that is not a representation of the people. When a government that doesn't represent the people, that government just need completely shut down. That is the program of today. That La Republique of Colombia need completely shut down, because we just need to shut it down. That's the program that I will be talking today here in the great state of Texas, here in the United States. This is a plan moving forward, and I will be speaking with you. And if you happen to join me live, I just want to thank you to Europe, Great Britain, South America, Douala. If you are in Douala, then this message is strictly to you. If you are in Douala, this message is strictly to you. So I want to thank all of you that are tuned in this morning, and I will be proceeding momentarily. And I want to thank you for tuning in. Here again, my name is Fonton Daniel. I will be speaking here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States. And my message strictly will be going towards Douala, and especially the New Bell prison. If you just join me live, make sure you share the message. Um, uh, I will be speaking about say that I will be speaking. I am going to first of all I let America understand there is a crisis going on in West Africa, especially in uh, in La Republique du Cameroun, like people are not actually aware of. So I am going to be speaking about today, and this is a government that ought to be shut down completely. Uh, all right. Yeah, good evening, good evening, good evening. I will and thank you for live here. I will be speaking live here from the great state of Texas, and I want to thank all of you that are tuning in morning. I know it's morning, it's already afternoon in Africa, and if you happen to be all right, issues. Um, we have an American missionaries, an American missionaries uh, who choose to take his family to a place in Africa, in West Africa. He was shot dead by the evil detained military that are currently invading Cameroon territory. How do we get the Republic of Ambazonia? Was never territory of the neighboring country, La Republique. Southern Cameroon has enjoyed his meaningful and democratic government, a government of representatives that represents Prior to this relationship, this undefined relationship with this neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroon, Southern Cameroon initially, Article 1608 of the United Nations Charter, recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon as a sovereign nations. And the same United Nations office also in 1960 recognizing La Republique. Both nations were never recognized by both nations together by the United Nations together. In 1960, La Republique got their independence under the French administrator. The fact that this Pobia or the previous regime, Amadou Ahidjo, was not actually the potential president to lead the UPC that aspiring to become the potential leader of the neighboring country, La Republique, was killed this by French authority. And many of the leaders of that political party even took a refuge in the South Cameroon. And so Southern Cameroon territory, or Federal Republic of Amazonia now, was a nation that they enjoyed that meaningful democratic government. So they welcome a refugee coming from La Republique to Cameroon in the Southern Cameroon territory. And it is quite amazing that despite that the Southern Cameroon enjoyed this meaningful and democratic form of government, but they were skillfully welcome the influx of immigrants from the neighboring country, La Republique, into Southern Cameroon territory, taking a refuge because of the massacre that was being carried out or perpetrated by the French authority, French government, including La Republique and including Amadou Ahidjo elements. And so when these people emerged, they came to Southern Cameroon. So we provide them a variety of areas for them for settlement. And we recognize them as a people. And we provide them opportunity to live in the Southern Cameroon territory. And at the same time, we have the British administrator that was part of the Southern Cameroon. The British administrator was residing in Nigeria. And because they were elected by the people, they represent the people of Southern Cameroon in this House of Enugu's House of Assembly. Because driving to Enugu in Nigeria was distance and consumed and the difficulty. So it was for them to choose to remain independent. And that is why one of the leaders that stood for was Abed Waba Moko, which his name often means not quoted. Abba Waba Moko was the one that said, now that the United Nations with the British administrator on the proposal that we should at least work together with one nation, either Nigeria or La Republique. And so our people have a choice to make those decisions. One of the choices were our own on how we do our business. But unfortunately, our leaders choose the neighboring country, La Republique. And there was supposed to be a term, and that term on how we should be governed, because there are two separate entities coming together. They were not a colonial territory. They were never a conquered territory. They were simply coming together for a common good. But unfortunately, La Republique has a different aim. Their goal was thinking that the people of Southern Cameroon were more of a colonial territory than rather than a nation coming together of equal capacity. But unfortunately, and that is why our people keep on asking, what relationship do we have with this neighboring country, La Republique du Cameroon? We had our police force, we have our defense force, and we thought that integration or working together as a nation, so they are a more of a conquered territory, and that they are more assimilating and acquiring the people of Southern Cameroon, choosing that we got to let go of Republic of Cameroon. We got to let go. And that is why, but we because we believe in a fundamental rule of law. We believe in a government of accountability. We believe an election that the people have a voice to determine. We don't believe that an individual will appoint his own cousin to appoint him as the president of a nation. That he never won an election, and that the election was made by fraudulent means and orchestrated by group of individual family. You have the president Betis, you have defense Betis, you have finance Betis, you have every aspect. Every aspect of the system is Betis. One tribe controlling the entire nations. I think it's time to make that differences. So today I am calling, if you live in Douala, if you are receiving this message and you currently residing in Douala, you have one way straight to the Newberg prison. This strategy that you must, if you live in Douala, it's simple. Shut down eradicate the government of La Republique. Because once we shut down the source of oxygen breathing apparatus to the La Republique, to the current Biya regime, then the current, because you can't that a journalist a murder of a United States citizen, a journalist that completely murdered an American citizen. And instead of them apologize to the United States that it was a bad mistake that it happened. Of course, one would not agree that it mistake because there are constantly murdering going on in the southern Cameroon territory. And so the journalist by name Maybe therefore simply reported. This is what the United States often not aware what is going on. Because of the crowdedness of what is going on here in the United States and political atmosphere. But this is American citizen, Charles Weko, a missionary that traveled with his family. He was murdered in front of his children and wife, Charles Weko of Indiana. And La Republique would acknowledge that they carried on the perpetrating action by murdering Charles Weko. They wouldn't even acknowledge. Instead, they want to justify their claim that it wasn't of them and that they did not carry on the act. You all are aware that the murdering of civilians, the murdering of a woman with his children in northern neighboring country La Republique du Cameroun. A mother with his children, they simply just walking, and they were simply in a forest. They were just like a wanderer. You all learned about the early man. The early man was just a wanderer. He has no tools, he has no weapons. And so this woman was simply a wanderer in the ground, now basically with no food with his children. And imagine that the La Republique du Cameroun military took this woman and shot her dead, including the children. And the communication minister of La Republique, the communication minister went on public TV and proclaimed that it was a different country, that the action was not taking place in Cameroon. And it's quite amazing that even La Republique will able to say on the media that they did not participate in the action that they portray on the social. And it's quite amazing that the BBC, with excellent journalism, was able to retrace the location, and they were able to show exactly the location where the incident took place. And yet, they wouldn't even acknowledge that actually the army of La Republique took that particular action. And it is quite deplorable. And today, Mimi Medford, a journalist, simply reporting factual information about what happened, what La Republique military shot Charles Weko. And she is now in a New Bed prison. Unjustifiable reason. Without unjustifiable reason. That is why I am bringing this attention for fellow Americans. And 11 students